Welcome to Best Picture This, where it is always Oscar season. I'm Mike.
And I'm Brian. In this show, we reevaluate every Best Picture nominee from the 21st century and decide whether to keep it or kick it from its Oscar pedestal.
Kick it or punch it or bite it in half or throw it against a mountain or
Just
hyperextend its jaws.
Flap its jaws around.
Yeah, and then beat our chests when we're done. In 2005, the nominees for Best Picture were Good Night and Good Luck, Capote, Brokeback Mountain, Munich, and Crash. But today, we're shipping out on a different adventure. And if we lose any of our crew members along the way, Brian, all of the proceeds from this show will be donated to their wife and kids because that man was a hero. The movie, King Kong. The director, Peter Jackson. Here's the trailer.
And lo, the beast looked upon the face of beauty, and beauty stayed his hand, and from that day forward, he was as one dead.
So you are ready for this voyage, Miss Darrow?
Sure.
Nervous?
Nervous? No. Should I be?
Imagine, if you will, an uncharted island, thought to exist only in myth.
Wall! There's a wall ahead!
That's where I'll shoot my picture.
It's deserted.
Of course it's deserted. The place is a ruin.
They've taken in! Find her! Behind the wall!
You saw something. What took her, Carl?
If you haven't found her in 24 hours, there'll be nothing left to find.
I think that trailer might be better visually than with the audio only. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot of and crashes.
Yes. Just since we're on the RAR already, I did have a quick trivia point that I want to bring up now. That is the roar. Where is this? And I can't find it. But the roar of King Kong is a lion's roar in reverse at half speed.
Kind
of
interesting.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe it was more like a third speed, but in 1933, King Kong did not receive any Academy Awards. But the 2005 King Kong won Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Visual Effects. And I was wondering, which one do you think was better, the mixing or the editing? The sound mixing.
You know I'm an expert when it comes to these types of things. But I don't know, do you think that this should have gotten better effects than Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
By far. Although it was pretty, the missing legs on Anakin, that's pretty good.
That's true.
It was also nominated for art direction. The Golden Globe. It also made the AFI's top 10 movies of the year. Mm-hmm. It also made Roger Ebert's top 10 movies of the year. Golden Globes Peter Jackson was nominated for Best Director and Best Original Score. The movie was made for $207 million, which held the record for the most expensive ever until the next year, and was topped by Superman Returns. The runtime is 187 minutes. For those listening at home, that's 3 hours and 7 minutes. The box office was a big success, $562 million. Coming up in the show, Farley Awards, Golden Takes, Questions, Imagine, Talk Trivia, and the big reveal. Will you keep this or kick it from the top 5, Mike?
But first, our Farley Awards for the most awesome moment of the movie. And for me, Brian, of course, it's a 3-way tie. Best sequence, New York City climax. The look and the Empire State Building sequence there, I think that's the best case scenario of what you can hope for out of a reboot. Mm-hmm. Best small moment, Naomi Watts' first scream. I think the build up to that on Skull Island, that payoff totally works. Mm-hmm. And the best performance, Andy Serkis as Kong. This is so great because he humanizes the ape, I think, in a way that I remember when I saw this in theater, I never saw coming going into a movie like this. I don't think that you expect to see a big giant ape react the way that this one does. And the best moment, I think, for that sort of humanization is when he saves Watts, brings her to the top of the mountain, and almost like as a thank you, she performs vaudeville for him. And he kind of laughs whenever she falls and gets distracted easily. And he kind of reacts like a baby in that sequence. And it's just so good. I think he's doing some big work there. And it shows he's not just a one-hit wonder. He's not just Gollum. He's more than that.
He had 132 patches on his body to capture all that.
Oh, I've seen the special features.
Yeah.
Believe you me.
After the full extended version edition,
yeah.
then you watch the special features.
Not all in one sitting, but
you like King Kong.
Yeah.
My favorite moment is when King Kong is on the stage in Broadway and he's in chains, and he's given a girl as a sacrifice, but it's just a reenactment. And when he realizes that it's not Ann Darrow, he kind of loses it. And it's a really horrifying moment. You know, you think about what it could be, what it'd be like to be in that audience, you know, and you're trapped. And it shows his kind of, you know, shows his mysterious attraction to Ann Darrow. Like why would not any old sacrifice work? It has to be Ann Darrow.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
he almost has a look of disgust when she lifts her head up and he realizes you're not Naomi Watts.
My Anne. Is this a horror movie?
No, but should I go into golden takes already? Because I've got a horror related golden take here.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Isn't this movie just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre retold? So let me explain.
Okay. I have not seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, okay. Well, you might not get these parallels here.
I don't like spoilers. I'm going to take off my headphones here.
So until the crew goes back to New York City anyway, I think the basic storyline here is the same. Texas Chainsaw is one of my favorite horrors, super scary. But the thing about it is that Leatherface, the big villain, he never goes out searching for teenagers to kill. You know, he stays at home, he's minding his own business, and all these nosy teenagers keep coming into his farmhouse, and great, now he has to hang them up on meat hooks. It's not his fault. And Kong is the same way. He's just hanging out in Skull Island, trying to do his thing, and these opportunistic, capitalistic Americans keep coming into his face.
Capitalists.
Seriously, and they got their cameras, and they're trying to throw the stuff that makes you fall asleep. Trying to throw
chloroform.
The chloroform. They're trying to throw that at him. And so, of course, he has to throw them against mountains and eat them and stomp on them. I personally don't blame him. What do you think?
Yeah, he's well within his rights to, kill all the people that come try to trap him.
Just because he's different doesn't mean that we shouldn't sympathize with him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I will say, it's kind of a toss-up with the Farley. I do really love that moment with King Kong on Broadway. Naomi Watts as the starstruck actress at the beginning, that is like totally camp, totally playing up every possible little stereotype of the struggling actress and everything. But I think Naomi Watts pulls it off so well, and it made me think a lot of Mulholland Drive, actually, where she's the struggling actress and she's like, it's purposely kind of so bright and cheery over the top, without knowing that there's really a dark side to all this Hollywood stuff. But I think that she is just impeccably cast and impeccable performance.
She's very good. I wish she would get more interesting roles. Questions.
More interesting than Andero?
Well, I mean, this was 2005.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I will mention my golden take, which is that so Carrie Ricker, Philadelphia Inquirer in 2005 said that when the gorilla touches the girl, he touches our hearts. I guess I feel like the movie is trying to be about King Kong's reaction and be so surprised. I don't know if it's because like it's sort of like already ingrained in culture that this is what happened in King Kong. But I guess I kind of was expecting, this is the first time I've ever seen this movie.
Okay.
I guess I was kind of expecting, I don't know what I was expecting.
So did you not sympathize with
not
the monster
not
here?
as much as I was kind of thinking you would, based on like how, Andy Serkis, 132 patches.
That's what everyone thinks. 132 patches.
But Andero is the real heart of the movie. And I think that the last line kind of it feels very hollow to me, the last line of the movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't the airplanes that killed him. It was beauty killed the beast. Really, it's not beauty that killed the beast. It was Carl Denham's greed that dragged him out into, a totally unfamiliar situation, which is bound to kill him.
Yeah.
You can't have a huge, 25 to 50, depending on which part of the movie you're in. At least 1933, apparently they were real loose with how big he was. So that line, like, it's very puzzling to know what to make of that line.
I think that they just wanted to reprise it.
But even in the 33 version, which I have not seen all the way through, I don't think. But Andero is what's really fascinating about the movie. Her facial expressions, looking at Kong, and you're kind of thinking, what is it that makes her sympathize so much with him? Because I didn't really feel, I wasn't feeling the emotional tug of like, wow, look how generous he's being by not killing her. He seems to be amused, more like a child, like a wild animal, really, that doesn't, decide somehow to have a strange little affinity with another little animal and not of his kind. But Andero, her relationship with Kong is incredibly complex and interesting. And I think that really the heart of the movie is her. I think the more I was thinking, like, what is it about it? I think that it's the beginning of the movie that sets it up, where she feels so rejected by all of her dreams of making it as an actress in showbiz, and she feels some acceptance, some appreciation from King Kong, that she craves it so much that even the little bit that she's getting from him is satisfying what she was hoping to get from show business. I don't know. The fact that she does her little vaudeville act in the middle, kind of, I saw it maybe as a thank you, but more like a, how else can I avoid getting killed?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, because
some of both, yeah.
Because you need to be afraid of this thing. But I think that she recognizes the humanity in him. That's how I read her reactions to him, because it's not like he's just going around looking for fights and trying to kill things. He does that to sort of assert his, place on the top of the totem pole here. But I think it's more that he saves her, he makes conscious decisions, and a lot of times he just wants to be left alone, and then he kind of gets pulled into these things, and that's never more true than when they go back to America.
Are we supposed to think that King Kong loves Andero?
Kind of. I mean, as much as an ape can love someone, I guess. I think it's more that he just feels some sort of connection with her, and I think that is kind of enough to show that this is like a sentient thing with feelings that maybe we shouldn't treat as an object.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I agree. I can't tell how deeply we're supposed to really go after that versus just like, it's an entertainment. It's a summer blockbuster, like we talked about in our Back to the Future episode.
Yeah, it's popcorn with a little something extra.
A little something, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is a movie about a giant ape smashing things. So I think that's the heart here. But there is a little real heart under it.
It's the summer blockbuster that we need at this moment in time. The when it tries, it's trying a little too hard to pull in the Heart of Darkness stuff, I have to say.
Okay.
Questions. Did you already ask me a question?
Nope.
Was Jack Black a bad cast for this movie?
No, never. Jack Black is always a good cast.
Okay.
I like him. I like him. Do I think that he's amazing? No, but I do like that they made this director like a straight up swindler. You're supposed to see him as like this phony con man, and I think that Jack Black is able to play that line where everything he says is always kind of a little bit funny, which I think clues you off that this guy is not someone to be taken seriously. That's my take. The movie is long, though. It's very long. So
Yes.
what would you cut?
I mean, there's so much of the fighting of the bugs and all that stuff that, first of all, I don't care if that's like 2 minutes of the movie or 100 minutes of the movie. Battle scenes don't really usually do it for me. Boxing movies, I wish that instead of 10 minutes of ring fighting, it was 1 minute. Usually, I mean, it just,
Really?
I don't know. I like,
Cinderella Man had some good fight scenes in it, though.
It did, but still kind of a little long for me. I don't know. It doesn't really excite me that much.
I think the movie lives and dies by the New York City climax. I wouldn't cut any of that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of open to the rest of it because it takes a full hour to get to Skull Island. And then it takes almost more than an hour to work through all of those CGI bugs. And I think that there's some great stuff in there. Like I love when Kong and T-Rex square off, and there's that very iconic shot where he sort of, pushes Andera beside, and then you have T-Rex on one side and Kong on the other.
The whirling cameras around the T-Rex fight, that's really great stuff.
Yeah, I think that it is too long, but I also don't think that it ruins the spectacle for me because, like I said before, it is a movie about a giant ape smashing things, and sort of the whole point of this is that it's overstuffed and oversized, and everything's kind of too big. I pulled a quote here from Stephen Graydanis from Decent Films Guide. He says that King Kong is one of those mad movies like Moulin Rouge or Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that fully justifies and deserves all of the best and worst that can be said for or against it. I totally agree with that.
The extreme excess, but that's what he was doing. That's what he's trying to do.
Yes, yeah. So it's watching it on its terms. If you want to point out its flaws, I'm game. I won't disagree. But also, come on, it's King Kong.
I do think that this is a movie that I would probably enjoy more on a second watch than the first. That happens.
6 hours of Kong.
It not a double feature, but I do. I think that when a movie is long and I start to get a little antsy, and I probably don't enjoy it in part because it was too long. And on the second watch, I skip a couple tracks in the middle and I probably enjoy it more.
You skip scenes?
I would on a second watch of this probably.
Oh man, so
but there are things about it. Like I would love to watch every scene with Naomi Watts again for sure today, because I think that she's just magnetic in the movie.
You're a constant enigma to me, Brian.
I don't love Jack Black in the movie. Like in the trailer, he's kind of like doing this like faux British accent. Like it's like he's almost trying to do it in a couple words.
Trying to do that like in the 30s New England thing.
Yeah, but he can't do that.
No,
he doesn't do an accent. He's supposed to be Jack Black. Peter Jackson wanted him in this role because he saw him in High Fidelity. He doesn't really do the High Fidelity thing though in this movie.
He should sing more in this movie.
He should.
I mean, in the middle of a bug fight, have Jack Black belt out a tune probably would improve those scenes.
He should be telling King Kong, "That's punk rock."
People worship me. What might have been?
What might have been? Peter Jackson wanted Fay Wray to make a cameo, and to say the final line of dialogue.
Oh,
but she died at 96 in pre-production.
They do mention her in the movie.
Yeah. Peter Jackson initially turned down the offer to make King Kong, but he's a huge fan of King Kong.
Yeah.
Like when he was a kid, he was all about it. So he changed his mind because he was too afraid that someone else would do the remake of King Kong and do it badly. So he was haunted and he had to go back and say, "Yes, I'll do it."
Yeah, because you could tell
make sure no one else would do it.
That this is, if anything is a passion project, it's this 100%.
Yep. Okay, a few bits of trivia. It took 18 months to create the CGI version of the Empire State Building.
Wow.
It took 14 months to build the building.
Longer to make it in a computer. That's crazy.
Okay, let's see. So Andy Serkis studied wild gorillas in Rwanda to know how to act. Peter Jackson was 9 years old when he first saw the 1933 movie, and he was in tears in front of the TV when King Kong slipped off the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. So at age 12, he attempted to recreate the film using his parents' Super 8 millimeter film camera, a model of King Kong made of wire and rubber, and with his mother's fur coat for the hair. But he finally gave up on the project. I wish that we could see that.
That would be a great special feature on the DVD.
Just a little note about the 1933. So this was such a sensation. Opened on March 2, 1933. They didn't do the, launch right before Christmas, prepare for the Oscars thing, apparently back then. Mm-hmm. March 2nd, 1933. Radio City Music Hall. Crowds lined up around the block to get tickets. They sold for 35 cents, 75 cents. And in the first 4 days, there were 40 showings, and they all sold out.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
It's amazing. You can't even put yourself in the headspace of really experiencing what that was like in the 30s.
Imagine a world before there was such a thing as King Kong. I mean, It's not like that changed the world exactly, but just like some cultural references, these landmarks that seem like...
And those types of special effects being... brand new, seeing dinosaurs and a giant ape fight on a movie screen was probably mind-blowing.
Now it's in every movie.
Pretty much. God.
Keep it or kick it, Mike.
So when I saw this for the first time...
In 05.
In 05, I remember I was charged up and so psyched, and afterwards I got a Steak and Shake milkshake and drank it, and life was good. It was perfect.
Perfect.
And I still love this movie, but it's very, very long. And I definitely don't have the same enthusiasm that I did from that first watch. And so I'm thinking, if I'm looking pretty much just at my 5th spot of the year, and I'm comparing this to maybe Revenge of the Sith, is this a better made movie? Yeah, it is. It looks better. The effects are better. The performances are better. And the writing is not great, but the writing is probably better. Mm-hmm. But I think I just like Sith better. Mm-hmm. I get a little bit more, it's more, a masterpiece.
Is there more rewatch value in Sith or Kong?
I think Sith.
Even when you count the runtime?
of Sith? You're saying Sith is too long?
Well,
Sith is the perfect length.
Every time, meaning like you get 887 minutes of runtime.
Oh, yeah.
So is it worth watching 2 times and Sith has to be watched 3 times?
Anyway. So I think I'm going to kick it.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it too. But again, I wouldn't mind seeing it again someday.
Yeah, I'm glad that I own it. I'm glad that it's in my collection, but I'm not going to watch it again anytime soon.
Yeah, I also own it. In the next episode, we'll talk about Batman Begins, the first in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy starring Christian Bale.
We want to hear from you. Is King Kong better than Revenge of the Sith? Is it the best blockbuster of 2005? Let us know, and we'll read your answers on the show. You can find us at Best Picture This, Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you listen. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at Best Picture This. And for 15 years of Golden Takes, head over to Letterboxd, where you'll find me, Mike Cavalieri.
To support the show and help select a bonus episode, visit patreon.com/bestpicturethis.
Thanks to WNZF and the illustrious Mark Gilliland for producing, and please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Thank you also for listening to Best Picture This, which, by the way, is produced each week for a fraction of the cost of making King Kong. So I was thinking maybe we could become consultants for Peter Jackson's next movie.
We know how to budget.
I think we could.
I think it's smart.
Yeah.